All right. Let's try this again as always. I always have to do this twice. I don't know why. Story of my life. All right. Get chat up. Make sure everything looks okay. It should sound okay. I think it sounds okay. I guess we'll find out here in a bit. We got a couple minutes before we get started. Hopefully you can't hear the children screaming in the background as they play some sort of video games. Windows continuing to try to sell me on Windows 11. I don't care. Awesome. Oh, I gotta set it to live, don't I? Event start. There we go. Awesome. Now it's official. I wonder if that screaming is coming through. I have no idea. I can't tell. Hey, what's going on? Oh, fantastic. I apologize in advance. Maybe I can convince them to stop screaming. Give me 1 second. All right, we'll see if that works. It's so echoey. You have scream. Yeah, but nobody can hear the screaming going on in your house. That's the difference. Unfortunately, there are probably people that will hear it on my stream. All right, I'm losing chat again. Let me see if I can bring everything up. Ah, thank you, Saul. Appreciate it. The joys of children. I know. I'm not the only one. I'll do my best here. Okay, cool. Well, happy Friday. It is August 15th, and wow, what a week it's been. It's been a good week for me. Hopefully, it's been a good week for all of you. I know for sure there's been some people who had a good week and some people that maybe did not have the best week ever. But for me, it was a really good week. And well, I guess I should qualify that. There's like some good stuff going on, but I still have some heavy bags that I will eventually have to decide what I'm doing with. Specifically, UNH is still a bag for me. And while I had really good results selling it today, the UNHG, I am still carrying some UNH behind the scenes that isn't in the sheet yet because I haven't decided if I'm going to continue to play it or not. But at some point, that'll be a booked loss, despite the gain. It'll offset the gains from this week. So I may end up putting it against the gains in this week, as I've done in the past, because it just makes my chart look nicer to myself. It doesn't change the numbers or anything like that, obviously, but it evens out the spikes here a little bit. But yeah, this week was great. I mean, we had a lot of assignments, a lot of shares called away, which in my perspective is not bad. Resulted in a huge number for the week of almost 40K, which also is 3%, which is crazy because last week was also a giant number, my biggest number ever. And then this week was my second biggest number ever. And last week being a 5% gain, this week being a 3%. So I know this isn't normal, and I've got to be cognizant of that going to like next week with it not being normal. But that's definitely something that I think about and I'm slightly worried about. So anyway, overall, everything went up. Awesome. My year over year number is officially a nice number again. Originally, when I started all this, that number was minus 8 or 10% because I started in a dip and worked my way out. You can see I haven't ever really talked about this earnings versus month chart, but basically in January and February, I did it on a much smaller portfolio. And then in March, I started to transition to more and more of my larger port. But in March, I really only started wheeling SPY, which is both really expensive and the premiums as a percent are not high at all. And then I started like getting out of SPY slightly, and I'm like, I can put a little bit more into this, a little bit more into that. And then I think by May, I was like, forget SPY. We're literally never playing that again. This is not what I want to be doing with my time and money. And things have been good, with the exception of Puke in July here. That was what happened here. Otherwise, like, this trend is incredibly straight. Like, I feel like if I drew a line on here, it'd be almost a straight line minus July, which is kind of crazy. Even if Puke wasn't in July, I don't think it would have been much more than June for a couple of reasons. But yeah, anyway, I'm thrilled with how things are developing and continue to develop. The other thing worth talking about on this sheet before we get into the fun stuff is, well, I am like 60% cash going into next week. I just put this together and updated it before this started, and that's accurate. I'm like, I didn't think I was 60% cash. For some reason in my head, I was like, it's like 30, 40% maybe. No, with all the callaways and the CSPs that didn't get assigned, like, it's a big percentage. So that's good. But also, I think everyone knows that when you're heavy in cash, it puts the onus on you to then like figure out what plays you're going to make. And I haven't thought far enough ahead for next week, which we'll do a little bit today, and then we'll hit the preview, the bakery with Muffin Man on Sunday, and probably think through some more stuff. I got some general ideas, but overall, like, it's a big position to be in cash on a week where I didn't expect to be so heavy in cash. So anyway, overall, all good. Let me fix this chat real quick. Okay. Cool. So the other thing is, like, we're maintaining this ridiculous run rate, and I don't think that'll maintain for more than maybe another week if we have a fairly strong week, but I'm not complaining. I think overall, seeing that it's possible is kind of interesting. Yeah, and also the number, like the actual percent return and stuff, this is all based off of the portfolio number. So as that increases, this would generally decrease because the denominator is getting bigger. Denominator? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, denominator. So, I'm very happy with that too. And yeah, the thermometer at this point is an afterthought. I think we will more than double this by the end of the year, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, we're going to keep going. I have been enjoying this. I think there's some interesting topics that we need to talk about today, especially with what's going on in the Discord about recent conversations on FOMO and stuff like that, and people maybe not making great trades all the time because they are following someone else's trade, where, really what we're trying to do here is teach people to make their own trades, think for themselves. And that's not a dig at anyone. I think you have to follow trades to learn a little bit. I followed trades early on, especially just to like see what worked and what didn't. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's disastrous, right? So you just gotta be careful with how far you take it, and also your conviction size. If someone else is high conviction, but it's not your conviction, you need to size appropriately, right? All that stuff we could talk about here today. All right, I'll stop yapping on that, and we're going to get into the trades. Oh, well, I do have one other thing to yap about. Hold on now. We had a big bet going into today, which I don't think this was brought up on the Discord no, I didn't do the call last week because I was not around. So there was a bet that, now this was made a few days ago when we were down here, and I think I said the exact words might have been along the lines of, yeah, there's no way Lily is not back above 700 by the end of this week. And I think I said that maybe a little too aggressively, although it worked. And the bet made was, if it's not over 700 by the end of this week at time of close, I'll eat a habanero pepper. So I did deliver on my side of the, see if you can see that. Yeah, you can, right? Okay, good. I did get, look, this is a bigger habanero than I think people thought it was. It's like definitely big mouthful habanero size. And I was prepared to eat this if we didn't close above 700. And I think it was Wednesday that I was legitimately thinking, oh, there's no way I'm not eating a habanero on Friday. My hands are burning. That's not a good sign. So I bought the habanero, and then Lily has since gone on an absolute tear back to 700. We hit 705. Apparently we hit 706 today. I didn't even realize that. So yeah, that was kind of nice. I was again like this morning at first. I'm like, oh, this is a cakewalk. There's no problem here. And then we dropped all the way back down to 686, 685. And I'm like, uh-oh. Okay, maybe I'm eating a pepper after all. But nope, market came back this afternoon, and by about shortly after lunchtime, it appeared that I might be in the clear, especially as we kept hitting this 705 number. That was kind of ridiculous. And maybe even better than having to not having to eat a habanero pepper. I have a bunch of Lily, and I have a bunch of Lily X, which if you didn't know, Lily X is the 2Xer of Lily. And that's been obviously fantastic because I bought this at 10. I bought this somewhere down here. I didn't get the absolute basement bargain price of $9.78 or whatever it dropped down to at the low, $9.69. But I'm very happy getting it at 10. That was a limit sell. And here's the thing. Look at this line. You're never going to get the exact bottom. I know I'm not going to get the exact bottom. I always say, look, we just care about being directionally correct. And this was clearly directionally correct in my mind. And I do see us eventually getting our way back up to probably 15 on Lily X, which would basically be 770, I think, on Lily, which is basically where we dropped from. And I can talk through all this when we get to Lily. But anyway, that was the big news this week was, would I have to eat a pepper? And the answer is apparently no. But I also don't like wasting food. And I don't know, maybe I'll take a bite. I just realized I never washed it. So I'm going to eat, and I can see dirt on it. So I'm going to eat a dirty pepper because I'm not going to. It's all right. I have high noons. That'll kill whatever dirt's on here probably, right? I think that's how alcohol works. We've got some chemists watching, I'm pretty sure. They can correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, now we're going to talk about the trades. I just wanted to get the big bet out of the way. There is another bet, actually, on UNH. We'll talk about that when we get to UNH, though. Also, that was like an unofficial bet. So we don't need to deliver on that right now. But we do need to keep it in mind. All right, cool. So let's start with Archer. Archer was a trade I made last week, and I bought Archer through CSPs at $11, and now we're down at $9.82. So I managed to sell 2 week out at the time CCs at $11 for 40 cents a share. With 3,000 shares, that came out to $11.70. So not terrible. We're going to break out the calculator early today and make sure we calculate some percent returns. So 40, I like to do this simply. 40 divided by 11 is 3.6% return, but it's only 26 weeks instead of the full 52. So it's only a 95% return. Terrible, right? So no, I was very happy with this trade. It was more than I expected from a premium perspective. And at the same time, it actually was threatened a couple of times. If we look through the week of Archer, and I know I can go to TradeView, but I just, for a real simple glance, we hit a couple peaks where we definitely went, I think we went above. Okay, I will bring out TradeView. I'm pretty sure we went above that too for Archer in this past week. We touched, maybe we did. Oh no, this is today. Let me look at the 5-day. What am I doing? Here we go, 5-day. So we'll change this bar from 5 minutes to, we'll do, I don't know, 2 hours is probably fine. And we got as high as this past week of, it was 1056, 1058. For some reason, I thought it went a little bit higher, and Google can kind of round it out a little bit on their tracker. So, I felt pretty good about this. I feel like we're in the channel that I thought we would be in. I can basically just extend these out. There's 2 different channels drawn, and I actually think we're going to bounce back and forth between the 2 channels over time. And I'll stop this one a little bit early so it doesn't confuse people more than it already is. But basically, we tend to, so I drew this a while ago, right? But you can see how we really do tend to stay in these ranges. We're on the bottom half of the range a little bit, but there's a good chance that we'll keep bouncing up to about 11 here, as we did in the past when we were here previously. And all I did was I took these lines that I drew way back here, and I just keep extending them out. And you can see that we just keep hanging out in that range without any major catalysts coming our way until the next earnings. Like this was a catalyst here, this earnings. I'm not too concerned about us falling out of the channel. Could it happen? Yes, of course. But generally, I like Archer. I've been playing Archer for the last year. The CEO is, more exciting than Joby's CEO, so we tend to get a little bit better in premiums, in large part, I think, because of that. Joby's the quiet. I think Joby's going to be the more successful company in the long term, but like playing the stock, Archer's better, at least from my perspective, for what I like, what my goals are, and what I like to see with the stock. But all I keep doing is playing with the range, and you can see that we're stacking EMAs here. Let me hide the fib for a second. All our EMAs are stacking on top. Oh, we can get rid of the cloud too. They're just right here. They've converged. So we've got this wedge, consolidation, all those terms that we like to use, but we're below the 200 moving average, which is kind of interesting. So I think, closing below these isn't great. Can we fall from here? Of course. But I think at the same time, we're there, right? I think we're very close to it, and we got a good shot at maybe breaking out above as we get into the next week, or maybe we'll stay in the channel. Now, there was a channel previous to this of where we were at with this whole cup situation here that I drew a while ago too, of 8 to 9. The thing is, I don't care too much because my cost basis has already lowered by 40 cents just from this past trade. So, 1060 now is where I'm at. I prefer not to lose the premium, but you can track it that way as total money in play at any given time. So you're tracking, am I going to lose money at the end of this for all of the plays that I made? Now, again, I don't want to lose any of the premium, but if I felt like I had to jump out, I could, and it would just be a lowering of the return on the money deployed. But we would still probably get out break even or better based on the premiums that are available. Overall, I'm happy with Archer. I'm just going to sell CCs again on it next week. I might wait for a good opportunity. Maybe I'll wait till we're at 1025 or something like that, because we get back to that range somewhat regularly. Where's 1025? There we go. Somewhere around here. This is where we're topping out. And it may take a whole week to get there, but that's okay because I'm probably not selling Archer options for next week. It'll probably be for the week after. So anyway, that's kind of where my head's at. What's going on, Lord Mar? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Next up, we've got GME. This is a silly trade that I've got some shares in taxable, so I put way out Delta $30 CCs and made $90. We don't really need to talk about that one too much. GME has been very quiet, actually. I do want to talk about GME for just a second. I don't have it favorited. I should, because I do look at it on occasion. So this makes it look like it moves a lot, but it really hasn't been. If we just shrink ourselves down here to it's been very flat. Since this drop from last earnings, we've gone from 21 to 24.75, right? And generally we've stayed more closely to 22 and 23. It's been very tight. So, to be honest, I don't really know what to make of this right now. I'm kind of surprised. There are some thoughts that, Masley was talking on the Discord, that there's things coming our way. We are back in the cloud. That's good. We do have a slight uptick, it looks like, on the stock versus the EMAs, so that's good. Although we're going to cross over the 200 moving at some point here shortly. We do have this fancy new squeeze indicator that I'm testing out after watching Average Advisor mess around with it, and we're in a green spot here, so that's good. There's more buying pressure than selling pressure, but I don't know what to make of this quite yet. We're a ways away from the next earnings. That's going to be somewhere out here in End of September, maybe. What was this? This was June 25th, July, August, September. Yeah, end of September. So we've got a long time before like we start seeing the potential run up and squeeze from earnings. But I think I'm just gonna. I have limit sells right now for CCs on this. I don't think they've hit yet, but it's for mid September and it's like $1.20. I am off Archer, but I'm always happy to talk about it. Going to be back in on 10 on CSPs. I think that's a good spot. I'll just throw it out there. Not financial advice, blah, 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 do and due diligence. But I don't think that's a bad spot, honestly, if Archer is a stock that you like. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of it on GME anyway, so we can transfer over to the next one. It's been fine. I'll keep playing them. That takes us to DEC. DEC was kind of funny this week. I thought it was going to go. Hence my note of let it go. Frozen style. Elsa would be proud. I was looking at DEC and I managed to wait until we were at like 105 this past week, somewhere around here, and I sold a 105 cc. Maybe it was here, right? It was very close, and I sold it for 120. And so basically, that's $1,000 because I have 100K. It's 1%. Okay, perfect. I'm happy enough to get 1% off the trade. And if the shares get called away, I was going to take the loss this week. And for a moment there, I was like, oh, look, the shares are going to get called away. Cool. However, 5 seconds later, I'm like, oh, wait, it's DEC. It's never getting called away. And sure enough, after a couple of green days, we get the same thing every time with DEC. It's very consistent, it seems. Even with like earnings run-ups, like look at that. Earnings pops. Earnings were great. All the way down, back to where we were. Incredible. So, like, talk about just a disappointing stock. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is selling at the money CSPs, or CCs, I should say, for the foreseeable future, week to week. Ideally, close to 105, if not slightly better. We keep hitting up at, like, this 106. We usually get close to 108, it seems. But I don't know. I don't know if that's ever gonna materialize. It doesn't feel that way right now. Although again, we're seeing some stacking of all of the EMAs. They're converging. What a mess! What a mess this chart is, by the way. All over the place. All over the place. All the time. I wonder if I zoom out though. Like, is there a cup? Am I missing a cup? I don't think so. I don't think there's a cup. In fact, I worry there's like this triple top thing going on instead, which is bearish. But no, there's nothing particularly exciting at a glance. There's what looks like they could be a bull flag, but then there's not. I guess this could be a bull flag if I really stretch it out and really stretch this and be like, oh, look, boom. Yeah, totally bull flag. I think this is cheating though. I don't think you're supposed to do this. So, if it were to jump up to anywhere above 110, I'm just getting out. I'm not even going to sell CCs. I'll just get out of it. Yeah, I can't believe it either, but I will say, in fairness to DEC, which, screw DEC, 1% a week is fine. Like, if I keep getting 1% a week, I'm not thrilled, but it's okay. So, yeah, that's my take on it. It does look like a bear flag right now if you look from here, but I was trying to be optimistic, just a little bit. So anyway, that was the DEC play. We tried to let it go. I mean, getting $1,000 for being aggressive, that's pretty good, right? Again, over 1%, or about 1%, I should say. I'll take it for now, but I am trying to get out still. And then we have another aggressive one, ASTS, not even close, 48p. Where did we finish at? Nowhere near 48p, right? It was not even close. Oh, we finished at 48.08. Okay, that's pretty close. That's about as close as it gets. In fact, maybe they won't even. Oh, no. It's a CSP. I was going to say maybe they won't take my shares. But this is interesting. Now, I drew this thinking maybe there's a bull flag. I was wrong. Let me be clear. I'm not always right. But, as you look at this, we do have support from the 200-day moving average. And we're really converging here. So what this means to me is take your bets. And because I don't bet very much, I don't like gambling. I know this is all gambling, whatever. I don't really like making gambly feeling gambly things. That's why we sell options, not buy them. We have a huge consolidation here. Like you draw the lines. These are legit triangle type things happening that also line up here. Like this is going to be an interesting couple of days of there's two things that can happen. I bet you can't guess what they are. It's either going to go like that or it's going to go like that. What's it going to be? I honestly, I don't have a clue. Not a clue. I think, this is an interesting thing where there are a lot of people with very high conviction on ASTS. Trogdor, the guy that's got 10 million in it, and I think he had 5 million and now it's 10 million because he had so much conviction in it way down here where he's buying at 20 and now it's 40, 50, 60 up here. Well, he thinks it's going to be $100 stock. That's great. He might be right. I just don't follow the stock that much. I'm not that deeply invested in it where I'm like, yeah, I think ASTS is a good stock generally. They're making some progress, but I've read enough rumblings of missing dates, missing execution, where I'm like, I don't need to be the guy that either wins or loses based on what feels like a coin flip. So we're going to stay out next week. As much as I like ASTS, we're going to stay out. And it doesn't matter to me. I'm not losing if I don't jump in here and it goes to here. But I'm also not losing if it jumps and down. So that's totally fine. What's my BC? My BC? What do you mean BC? BC. You mean CB? Cost basis? Yeah, I got called away at 25 also, man. I feel ya. Imagine we just did nothing. We would be rich. Richer. It's a funny thing. Oh, my cost basis on deck. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't checking quickly enough. It is, so it'll show on Fidelity at I think it's down to 110. I think after this last option, it's probably 109-ish, maybe 108, something like that. So, yeah, we're getting to the range where selling at, like I said, 110 or better is just break even or slightly up. Will I lose out on the premiums that I've gained? Yes, to some degree, of course. But I can live with that. Honestly, I don't really care. Ideally, I sell it at 115 because that was my original cost basis. I don't think I'm going to get that opportunity. So we'll just see what happens. But yeah, I'm happy to get at it. Does Fidelity update your cost basis from CCs? So I think so, but only if you let it go to expiration. I might be wrong. I have so many things that turn that I'm not 100% sure. I should know on deck because I've had that for long enough. But I think when I buy them to close, it doesn't capture it. But if I don't close it manually and let it expire, I think it does. But I'll double check that. Hey, Justin, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. If you haven't seen it, I do have the pepper. I'm gonna be showing that and trying not to rub my eyes after touching it all stream. So get over it now. Anyway, ASTS, very happy with the play. I knew it was a little risky, and I sold that 48p when we were, I forget what day it was exactly, but I think we were at 49. It was very close to 48, and I was like, ASTS is whatever. I mean, the range is basically 42 to 52 in my head. 48 felt fine. So it's so spiky, and you can see it here. It really is. We're just, again, another stock that's kind of all over the place. But this is I love this. This is my dream stock to wheel because I like to be in and out of it between earnings. And as long as I'm out between earnings, the chance of a black swan event exists, obviously, but you can get such good premiums that I feel like it offsets. Because even if ASTS dropped all the way down to 25 or whatever, I feel like I would just keep willing it until it went back to 60 because it's kind of like him. So you can group some of these meminess now, and people get upset if you call ASTS a meme stock, by the way. So I gotta be careful, but I don't have to be careful. I don't care what they think, but it's definitely that volatility is what creates the opportunity. So as long as you can live with that, whatever you can sleep at night, you're fine. But it is a risk that you're taking, obviously, at any time. Do not touch your eye. Yeah, I'm going to keep the glasses on so I don't. Hopefully that helps. Sitting right on the 50 EMA on the daily too. Is it ASTS or DEC? Which one are you talking about? I rub my nose. Is that a problem? No, I think that's fine. Nose is fine. I do have to scratch. Now we're talking about it. Now I scratch my eye. All right, we're going to get rid of a bunch of these lines and stuff. I guess I can just delete them instead of trying to undo a million times. What are we at? Okay. Yeah, no, we're definitely on top of. Is that the 50? We got. If you like, I just have to be able to tell the colors apart. That's a problem. I'm probably borderline colorblind. 48.54 is the 9-day. 48.55 is super Ichi stuff. Whatever. It's close. Yeah, it's pretty close. But yeah, no, I think it's a good spot. The 50 is what is the 50? 50.4. It's close. Yeah, the 50 is up here. No, 50. This is the 50. No, this is the 50. Okay, I think we're far from the 50. But we're between the 50 and the 200. I would imagine in TA land that means something. I don't know what. Other than, again, everything's converging here. So we've got just such a natural... Oh, you know what? That triangle is even bigger. Like, you can start it all the way back there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's going to mean. But I know what it means for me, and that is that I'm just going to observe this one from the sidelines. It's definitely a little bit of a risky biscuit for me, and I've already eaten one of those. I don't want to eat another puke biscuit, please. Well, that was unnecessarily aggressive and visual. Next up, we have Master. Master is a fun one because Master was also all over the place, and Master's starting to have issues. I think this is an interesting one to talk about because the issues that it's having is it's starting to detach from Bitcoin. Can I add Bitcoin to this? I never really tried. BTC. Same percent scale. Okay. So Bitcoin is going up, and there's some amount of like correlation, obviously, but we're diverging. And Master, while Bitcoin went to all-time highs, Master went down. And there's a lot of like, if you go to the Master, it's MicroStrategy, strategy, MSTR. Sorry, I call it Master. I just realized I'm doing that again. But if you look in the MSTR subreddit on Reddit, there's a lot of concern right now because look at that, right? And we just dropped below the fibs. We're all the way out in left field, below all of the moving averages. What am I moving? I'm moving something accidentally. So we've got to like just be generally concerned. I'm gonna take that off because it's messing me up. There we go. So now we're gonna look at just Master MicroStrategy for a bit. Why do they have to change their name anyway? Like anyone cared that they were MicroStrategy, not strategy? What a silly thing. But we're below all the moving averages. This is a very strong support level, though. We've been here before. Let me zoom out a little bit more. And easy to draw a line from here to here. Look at that. Look at that. We just keep bouncing. And that gives you a little bit of support in my mind where the stock just doesn't want to go below that. And I feel like it is hard to go below that just based off of the amount of Bitcoin they have at this point. It's kind of crazy, right? That Bitcoin has gone up as much as it has, and yet Master is just free falling right now. However, like I said on the Discord, I'll probably double up next week if we continue in this range, because I'm at 375 and I can sell a 375 CC for next week and make $4 or $5 a share. already. Like just right now, it's not a bad stock to wheel because of the premiums are insane. And if anything, maybe we're going to start seeing IV expansion here as it's becoming less predictable. I will say for a while here, right here in particular, it felt very predictable. It was like behaving how I thought it should behave, which shouldn't be a thing. Like that, I don't know Bitcoin. So like don't listen to me on Bitcoin, but it was behaving like a stock ought to based on Bitcoin. But it's falling apart. So anyway, just saying that we got to be careful here. It's very treacherous terrain that we've got to navigate through. And the next week's going to say a lot. Because again, if we break down below this support line of 360, I think Bobo was saying something like 350 is the next line down that he sees. I don't know what that's based off of, to be honest. If he was here, I'm sure he could tell us. But that would be concerning if we fall below that. Then I maybe consider, well, I'll probably still wheel it forever because the premiums are so good, but I might be sitting on bags there for a while, potentially. And I know that going into it, but generally, I think I'm okay with that. Matt, strategy's been very good to me from a wheeling perspective. Very good returns. And I'm willing to give it a shot here to continue. I would have ideally liked to not have been assigned in this case. I usually don't care. But because of the situation that we were just talking about, it would have been better in this case to finish at 376 or better. I think often you would say that, but I generally am fine with assignment of shares. I think we just got a lot going on here that we've got to digest before we can feel comfortable with that. Oh, that's the wrong tracker. All right, enough about Master or strategy. Next up is Reddit. What the hell, Reddit? Oh my gosh. I should never have covered my 200s. That would be another like $40,000. But that's okay. I do have uncovered Reddit shares that will stay uncovered probably forever in my long-term taxable port because one, I don't want to realize gains on them, and I would have. You essentially couldn't have picked a Reddit strike that paid anything worth risking the taxable event in my mind because my cost basis on these shares is $60. Right, somewhere down here. Yeah, 63.59. That includes 250 shares at 47. You know, so like I don't want to give away those collector items. I'm going to hold on to those as long as possible. I do think long term it's a $500 stock. I say that all the time. Not financial advice, so you're under due diligence. But I would be surprised if we go beyond 250 right now. We'll bring that up. Whoa, this chart. This is my most beautiful chart ever. Look at that. That is insane. All of this came to be. I still can't believe it. Anyway, we're in the sky, okay? And where did 250 come from? There was a Fibonacci view that showed it. Can I like drag the Fibonacci's to be up instead of down? I was looking at something where 250 was a clear. Oh, maybe it's on. Let me look. Is it the 3-month instead? Oh, come on. Nope. Was it the daily? Yes. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Perfect. So the daily fibs, the 1618 line, is 250. And thank you. Yeah, you got it. You beat me to it, but I found it just in time to not be too embarrassed by not being able to find it. So my thought was there's a good chance we're going to bounce, I think, from here. And I wonder if, oh no, am I going to do it? Am I going to start drawing lines? I don't want to draw it here because I think we're going to go above it and maybe we'll just close below it repeatedly. But I wonder if, and I'll start wide, I wonder if we're going to be in a range like this until the next earnings, right? Because historically, that's kind of what Reddit has done. It has found a range. Now, we did this in the past. It found a range early on, and I was wheeling it back here. And then we had earnings. I stayed away from wheeling it. We had earnings, and it popped off, and it did this stair stepper up. But then it kind of got range bound here, 165 to 190-ish, right? Something like that. We popped out of it for a moment. That was an earnings run up, and then we dropped back into it. Now, I expected us to then stay here originally for until this earnings cycle, but instead it coincided with, I just rubbed my eye. It just coincided with, that's dangerous, the tariff issues, right? And we had the bottom drop out of us. And I wonder if enough people bought those $80 shares. I bought some of them, but I sold a lot of them already, like by the time I got back to 120. I in hindsight, it would have been nice if I didn't, obviously. But it was like 2,200 shares, and it felt too much, especially for what I preach on like conviction sizing and all that. And even though it's my biggest conviction size, it felt too heavy. In hindsight, I went too heavy on UNH, and I should have stayed as heavy as I was on Reddit. But it is what it is. We all make mistakes, and you learn from them. So this was a tumultuous time, I think is probably the right word. But we got out of it, and it kind of went as planned, which is kind of crazy. Although we did worry about these gaps on the way up. And then we hit a new channel-ish back over here, which was, somewhere we've been in the past, early on the ramp up from that first ramp I showed. And then we knew in our hearts that earnings could only do one thing. That's why it got the rare double God arrow. And it did. But all things must come to an end, and how high can it go is the question. I think there's a good chance we're about there. So, all that preamble to say, I tried to get in at 240. Originally, I thought about like 215, and then I'm like, I'm going to wait a little bit, because it appeared right here like, oh, maybe we're flattening out here, and I could maybe do like 205 cc's. For a while, I was thinking when we were way back here, I was like, 195 is a good entry, which sounded good at the time, but clearly aged like milk. And instead, we find ourselves way up here. So I think there's a good chance that we'll see pullbacks. I tried to get in at 240, and we ended up closing at 246. I mean, at one point, we were at 248. Insane. Feels good. I love it. I having shares, it's amazing. Kind of wish I had all in on RDTL there, like everybody, and made $600. Oh, come on. I thought like this was a sure thing. Like, no way I won't get it at 240 with, $3 downside protection, which, by the way, we like touched that today. We went down to 236.39, 236. So that was like right at what the downside protection was. And then we finished strong. So no shares. But we'll keep trying to sell CSPs on those next week for sure. And maybe I'll do more than two. Maybe I'll do like 2 a day until I find something that feels right. Or 2 every couple of days. I don't know. TBD. Follow along. Like and subscribe. All that stuff. But yeah, $600 from that. We'll take it. Then we get to UNHG. Oh, baby. Am I doing 0.3 delta on those? They were, hey, Alec, what's going on, man? Good to see you. They were tight deltas. I forget. I think they were just about, I sold them when the stock was at 243. Okay, I have to confess, I hardly ever look at the delta number. I don't really care about the delta number. I think that's like probably worthwhile for people to look at, but I kind of just go by feel of it's got to be the right mix of premium, interest in this. Like, there's a lot of things that go into me picking the strike than just the delta number. I know that statistically it's significant, but basically I go like, I want these shares. I'm going close to at the money, get that max premium, baby, and if you don't, you get paid the most too. So a little bit of a risk, obviously. You're not talking too much in chat. I want to talk in chat. Bull finally overtook Reddit for your most earnings on a ticker. Oh, look! Hey, we can check that for me too. There's no way Bull beats me or beats Reddit for me. I do like to look at this on occasion. I think I did Reddit last time. Oh, what happened? Oh, I got to select it. Oh, no. Wait, yeah. What am I doing? Select all. Okay. Yeah. What am I doing wrong? Clear. Reddit. Got it. I don't know what I was doing wrong. Okay, so I've been playing. Here's the thing: I've been playing Reddit forever, so it's not fair, I guess. And if we just look at this, yeah, $128,000 on Reddit. Ha ha! Everyone who hates on Reddit, you know what to do. Now let's look at Bull. Bull, I like, but and honestly, Bull's probably made me quite a bit now that I'm thinking about it. Almost 30K. Hey, that's not bad, especially since it's only from May. And I mean, generally, I am not risking the same amount of capital on Bull. I've gone as high as 10% on it, so that's a solid return. And as you can tell, I like Bull a lot. I have played it a lot. The premiums are amazing. The share sales usually work out pretty well. It's all good. It's all Gucci. Oh yeah, this one I messed up. It's still paid, but I messed that one up. But yeah, I like Bull. You close your eyes and pick whatever your finger lands on. That is good. There's probably like a world where that strategy works, especially if you take like the monkeys and writing Shakespeare after given enough time. Some monkeys are just making more than Warren Buffett in that scenario. Yeah. All right. So what are we up to? Catching up on chat for me. That's for what. So we talked about Reddit. Yune Shi. Yeah. So this was good. This was solid. But this again has a big caveat, big asterisk. So I had 700 shares of UNH, and UNH was being a little bitch for like ever, and we were down in the dumps. And at like 240, I'm like, I'm going to sell 250 CCs. Well, we closed at 250.84 and shares were called away. And then it was here. It was here. Yeah. Well, look, that was like the same exact number. Did you see that? That's crazy. Friday called away, and I was like, well, whatever. Next week, I'll just get in. Oh, wait, no. I gotta rewind a second. So here, I panicked. Not panicked, but I was like, well, if it gets called away, I'm going to lose out on gains because this could happen. Like this exact scenario was in my mind on UNH of we elevator down and we could very easily fly back up. But how do you know? And the answer is you don't. And in fact, like you could argue this is a bear flag, right? There's a lot of stuff that says, I don't know, maybe nothing happens. But black swan events happen, and it felt like, we're getting buying pressure. And we saw it softening here. So what I thought was, well, what if I just buy a whole bunch of UNHG, and this way I capture the upside? Was it you, Justin, asking about that? Hey, Muffin Man made it. Nice. We were talking about what happens if you cap your CC and you got to eat it? Well, you can do a few things. You can buy a call, straight up buy a call further out for less money than the premium that you received, hopefully. You can, if they exist, buy 2x shares, which is what I did with UNHG. And you can position size appropriately. That's why position sizing matters so much. Because if you have 700 shares of something, your max position, the problem was I didn't want more UNH. I was already like 2 in deep. But then I looked and I'm like, I lost so much money on UNH that the position size isn't as big anymore. Now I can buy UNHG. And that's what I did. So I let them get called away. And I never re-entered UNH. I just said, at this point, I'm going to eat whatever the UNH cost is for a bit, because maybe it bumps up, but maybe it goes back down, and then I'll get back in UNH. And instead, we had this crazy run up to 310, and I sold. Hold on one second. I'm going to blow my nose because I just lost. All right, I spared you all the sounds. You're welcome. So UNH and UNHG, let's look at UNHG. That spike was nutso, and we topped out at 1727 for the day on UNHG. Well, I put a limit sell on that because I wasn't sure I wanted to jump out. But if you were going to pay me $17 a share on 4,500 shares when the cost basis I had on them was 1167, sure, everyone's got a price, right? I decided that was my price. It seemed both possible, but not necessarily a guarantee. I did not have, it was not on my spreadsheet. It was not on the bingo card for this week of me selling UNHG, but here we are. And, because we've dropped back down a little bit, I might get back in. I don't know. Where my head's at is UNH, while we spiked up bigly on the Warren Buffett news, we're just back to the old channel. Look at this. If I click the 1 month, oh, look at that. Oh, wait, no, 6 months. Oh, look at that. We're right back to where we were. It's probably like 3 months, and I can't do that. There we go. They're screaming behind me again. I'm sorry. I can't get the kids to shut up all the time. What am I doing? I'm on the wrong chart here. That's 3 minutes. No, I want 3 months. What the hell? Why do I have a 3-minute chart? That's obnoxious. All right, it's down here. That's why. So let's change this to a day. Maybe a day. There we go. Okay. That took a lot of effort to show that we went right back to where we were. Right? I can once again ask for your help and your donations to draw this line and say, look, we're right back between 294 and 320. So in my mind, there is as likely a chance that on Monday we test off this line again, because we did a lot and there was a lot of excitement here. And this could continue to go up. Like I might just be wrong, right? And you got to keep that in mind. You got to always make your own decisions. I could very well be wrong here. But it seems very plausible that I can get back in lower. Now, if it goes up more, I don't know if I'm getting back in at all. Like that's just how it is. And I might be moving on to another play and I'll eat the UNH loss at that time. Everything else has gone up so much that I genuinely don't really care that much. And a lot of the UNH movement has felt nonsensical at times. So while you can wheel it somewhat successfully here, these drops are just, they can be a bit much, right, to weather. So that's kind of where my head's at right now. Obviously, there's a lot of positive momentum right now. We're seeing it on the squeezometer down here that I'm looking at for the first time on UNH. Maybe it just goes up from here. I don't know. But in my mind, if we retest the bottom fib, I'll probably sell CSPs. Maybe I'll get back in UNHG even at like a 15-ish price or whatever that would equate to. I don't know. I'd have to do the math. And if not, I might say goodbye. I might say see you later, UNH. It's been fun. Actually, it hasn't. It's been awful. But UNHG paid me back quite a bit with that 25K return on less than a week of holding the shares. That's kind of the story there. It's UNH goodbye. See the G? The G is in, you get it? Yeah, probably. I don't know. What's going on? Elleries. My eyes are terrible. I can't even see the names well. Just beat your niece and nephew at Sorry. Oh, you are a professional. Hey, Fades. Did I say it right? Hopefully. What else we got? We got a lot of chat going on in here. Is it a cup? Oh my God. Don't make me draw a cup on UNH. No, I don't. You can't draw a cup there. Oh, but wait a second. Maybe you're right. Maybe we're cupping. I do like cupping. I have cup marks all over my back, actually. I bought one of those sets on Amazon. It was like $15. My chiropractor charges me like $60 to do cups on me. And I can now do it for free at home. My wife does it. She doesn't like it that much because it leaves weird marks on my back, but I don't care. It feels good. I highly recommend it if you've never tried it. Okay, so if we try to draw a cup here, it would be something like, where's my arc? Here we go. I'm getting quicker at finding the arc. It would be like, I think we drew the cup on this last time, didn't we? It's somewhere like this. Gosh, that'd be amazing, huh? Back up to 484. Maybe I do need to just buy it no matter what. How far out do we need to go? One earnings cycle and a half? Okay, maybe I just sold myself that I'm going to be back in it. I gambled and won. That's right, man. What else matters? Did I eat the pepper? Did I do the shot? No, okay. So here's the pepper. It's dirty. I never cleaned it, but that's okay. It doesn't smell that spicy. We might taste it at the end of the stream. I don't know. Maybe I have a bathroom across the hall. Maybe I'll rinse it in there real quick. But haven't eaten it yet. And no, I didn't do the shot. I was going to wait till Sunday on the shot. I decided I'll wait till Sunday. Hey, Colton. Welcome. It's not spicy. I could lick it. Dude, it is spicy. I just licked it and it's spicy. What are you talking about? It's not spicy. I don't think it's even supposed to be spicy if you lick it, which means it's really spicy. You know that meme? You know that meme with the kid who like brushes his teeth? And he's like, they put the red eyes on him. He's like, it's spicy. So you had to be their joke, but I'm laughing. What else matters? All right, I don't know. UNH, are we cupping? It's hard to say. If it cups, I'll eat nothing. I'm not making another bet. That was close. It almost happened. I'm not making a bet like that because I'm going to end up eating a freaking ghost pepper on UNH. And I don't even like the stock that much. Not nearly as much as Mr. Buffett, that's for sure. Although I wonder, maybe it's going to be more aggressive. Maybe it's going to be before earnings even, huh? No, I don't. There's no way it happens before earnings. I think it's going to have to happen after earnings. Maybe we run up into earnings and then go, God arrow. It's possible. Close in the Ichi Cloud. Yeah, dude, we're close. I was looking at that too. I didn't say it yet, but it is peeking into it. And if we get there, that's a lot of bullish momentum for sure. So we've got the squeezometer along with the Super Ichi Cloud back into the fibs. Everything is telling us maybe this is going to happen. I bet we can't even find the stupid the 200 moving average. No, because it's at 443 still, which is up here. But yeah, it's not looking bad. I don't know. All right, I got to think about this one. I'm not committing to anything here on stream, but certainly I will take a harder look at it next week and debate about it some more. That pepper, which pepper's not spicy? The ghost pepper? Or this one? You want to see? Oh, I just read that. I'm losing my mind. Okay. UNHG. I'm done talking about you in Pepperland, although I have to do a shot because so this is I guess I could get the fireball shot if you're going to be here, Muffin, for it. How long are you going to be here for? Are you going to be here for more than like 2 minutes? I know he's trying to debate me. And he might be successful is the problem. I'm concerned. I'm easily debated. Fire. Bite it. No, I don't want to bite it yet. Well, we got time. We got to look, if I bite it, I'm not going to be able to talk anymore. So I want to get through the talking before the biting. It's just like foreplay, right? All right. Next up is ONS. Okay. Genuinely my favorite play of the week. I'm proud of this one. This was like some average advisor level math. You know the symbols coming out of the head from Hangover. That scene, right? Yeah, that was what was going on here. Where I don't even know what came over to me to what happened to ONS? Let's bring up that chart. I don't have them up. I guess I should add ONS also. Okay, somebody tell me why when I go to watch list and I want to add a symbol and I add ONS and I go click the button, it goes into crypto. What the hell? And then I have to move it up. Why does anyone know why that happens? Also, you know what really bugged me? I'm sure he's not watching, but Average Advisor was given his Super Daddy coaching session today, technical advice or technical analysis lessons, and it was great. But I saw his watch list, and I'm like, it's not alphabetized. Who are you, Satan? You're a psychopath. Alphabetize your damn watch list. Why would you not do that? Don't you want to be able to find stuff quickly? Come on. Anyway, did I click it yet? Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, we drew a cup on Ons? When did we do that? It worked again. Didn't even realize we drew a cup. I didn't go as high as I needed to with the arrow, but this one goes on the fridge. We have another cup to put on the fridge. This is amazing. I had no idea we had a cup. This is surprise cup is the best cup. Just generally not what my wife says, but otherwise. In the stock market, surprise cup is a good cup. This is, there's too many that's what she said jokes going on in my head. This is cool. All right, so I'm getting distracted again. If we look at like the 5-day, well, look at that arrow. Anyway, the 5-day is cool because it was pretty wild there for a little bit, right? We had earnings right here. Earnings was generally stellar, right? Surprise, 21% positive surprise. They actually made money. What? RCAT, where are you? We went down 10%. And it was interesting because they ran down to earnings to 336, and then they spiked up. And then it was not one day later after close. They're like, oh yeah, but we're going to dilute the shit out of our shares. Sorry, guys. And they dropped to 350. But that was it. That was the news. There was no more catalyst. And we pretty quickly found where we wanted to be. As that is spicy. I feel it in the back of my throat, just touching my tongue to it, just so you know. Like, I want to cough right now, and I'm holding it back. Anyway, at this point, it seemed clear to me that we're going to hold above 345, if not better. And when we got to here, maybe it was over here. No, it was somewhere over here. Yeah, it was over here. We were in this 3.6 range. I looked at options and I go, oh, wow. I could buy shares for 350 or 360 and then sell an option at 25 cents for a covered call. So that nets 15 cents a share, which doesn't sound like much, but I bought 10,000 shares because it's so cheap. So you do the math, and that's a pretty good return. It ends up being a little over 4%. I think it's actually like exactly 4% after Dirt Turtle. I see you. I see you. I think it actually ends up being 4% after fees. He's typing in Discord for those of you who are wondering. So 4% after fees on a cheap stock because you're going to buy so many contracts is pretty good. And when we look at it, the math works out to, for $36,000 risked, we sell at 35,000. So 36, but 3.6, we sell at 3.5, but we net 25 cents. And that 25 cents, if I wanted to buy it back, is less than 65 cents, which would have been free anyway. Not that I did that. I don't know why I got so excited about that. It didn't happen. But there wouldn't have been, if I wanted to close it at like a cent, I could have, I guess. I guess that's great. But the net was $1,400. So $1,400 divided by, I did this all wrong. Whoops. Yeah, okay. So what am I doing? That's not what I want to do. It's 25 divided by 3.5. What am I doing? I just lost my mind. Okay, 1,400 divided by 36,000 is, okay, it's under 4%. I was wrong. I thought it was exactly 4%. What did I do? Why am I doing wrong? Oh, did I do it off 35,000 maybe? Divided by 35,000. Yeah, okay, 35,000 is exactly 4%. Wow, I can't do basic math. What is in this? It's the pepper. It's the pepper, I'm telling you. So I think I should do it off of 36,000 though, so it's slightly under 4%. Anyway, I felt like a clever girl, Jurassic Park, and $1,400 for a 2-day expiration is insane. And it seemed like a sure thing because again, if it didn't work out, 3.6 minus 0.25 is 3. 3.5, right? Yeah. It's even lower. That's right. Iluvatar, who's not here, corrected me last time. I didn't really feel like I risked owning Oz. And even if I did, it would have been way down here. Which, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's only over the course of a week. Maybe that's a little riskier than I'm giving it credit for, but it really felt fine. And the best part is I posted this on After Hour, and the first response is like, yeah, but if you just bought the shares and sold it at $4, you would have made more money. It's like, thanks, idiot. I knew that. It's not what I wanted to do, though. I wanted to make what was much more of a sure thing play. Why am I so mean today? It was a much more sure thing play in my mind to do this with a lot less risk of, because if you're right, if the shares just dropped, then that would have sucked. So very happy with how that worked out. Almost feels like it almost worked out too perfectly. And it seemed by the next day, I was like, oh yeah, there's no way these are getting called away 100%. So that was fun. I will look for plays like that in the future a bit more, where you end up selling in the money CCs basically. And it was great. That was, I would do that. I mean, you size that position up, 100K play, not bad, not bad. You're here under your alter ego. Drunk off spice. That might be true, actually. The spice is flowing from that pepper. I smell it. This is only the first one, so we're good for a bit. I'm not even slurring yet, guys. That's where it gets dangerous. All right, what am I missing? I wish I could do a poll. Maybe I can. I don't know how to do it on YouTube. But yes or let me see if I can do a poll. What does this button do? Oh, I can put emojis in here? Oh, let's do this one. Hey, it worked. That's cool. I can do a poll. Would you want to own ONS at, we'll call it 335? Yes or no? Start poll. We're going to find out how many people are watching. Oh, it's 3. Tie break. Can I vote? No. Yes. Oh, it's 100% yeah. Oh, no. At least 5 people voted. 83%. Okay, I can't even do the math anymore. 6, 7. Interesting split. More people than I expected who would be easiest yes of my life. That was me with the Lily play, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. I don't even have... it's not even close. I'm still going to talk about it because that's my other favorite play of the week. Okay, I'm going to move on while you all vote for whether or not you want to own ONS. So can I end the poll? I can end the poll. Does it post results? It just disappeared. What is this, YouTube? The poll just disappeared. It's like it never even happened. Oh, that's garbage. Unfortunate. All right, next play. Tesla. I bought Tesla, had a 325 cost basis, and I've been selling these 330 covered calls repeatedly. And I could not believe that this week I was like, oh, I could have clicked it. Did I draw a cup on this too? For real? Oh my God. Who let me draw a cup on Tesla? Oh, this was the long cup. It is not a cup. We need to delete that picture. That's... Well, honestly, it did kind of look like a cup for a minute there. Okay, wait a second. That's cuppy. And then it just decided to decouple itself. So this was... I'm going to delete this arrow now, but that's hilarious. Why do the cups always work? Or seem to? I guess because it was really just a big wedge. It wasn't a cup and handle. It was just a long wedge. So I sold these down here. It was last week, at the end of last week. And then we shot to 350. Did we hit 350? Almost. And I'm like, what the hell? I should have just kept the shares uncovered. And then I'm like, whatever. They're getting called away, max profit, which is cool because it was $1,000 from the share appreciation here and the 750, right? So 1750, pretty cool. I was fine with that. Whoops. And then only to find that we dropped below for a little bit today. We were below 330. We closed right above it. but half the day was spent below it. I'm like, oh, am I really going to hold these shares for another week? And if that happened, I don't know. I might have kept them uncovered. At this point, I will not buy back in unless we hit 300. I'm going to say that now. Blanket statement, Tesla, 300 only. I'm not buying it in the 320s again. It's been fine to wheel at 320. Honestly, it's been good to me. Like, we can look at real quick, like, what has Tesla done for me? And I don't play it that much. I guess if I included TSLL, it's in there too. I guess maybe I played it more than I realized. $7,500 over the course of a couple of months. Generally, just a couple of I think these are the same 2 contracts. No, because I didn't own it for a long time. Yeah, I kept buying it back. That's right. But I only ever kept it to 2 contracts, and that's fine. That's a pretty decent little run by Tesla. But having played it as long as I did, I came to the realization of it's better played in longer cycles. You got a watch list. Use your watch list. My watch list has 30 stocks on it. I don't play all of them or even half of them, but that's okay. Play the ones that make sense to play at the time in your life, at the time in their life, that crosses in just the right spot, and then you can really profit pretty well. Because if I had done that, I could have bought these at 300, right? And there was no reason to be playing with it at 325. So no regrets. This was fine. This all worked out great. But like, we hit 300 multiple times across a time span of me playing the shares. And yet for some reason, I never owned them at 300 because I kept buying them here like an idiot. And then they dropped the 300. I'm like, I guess I'm not selling any CCs on them, or I'm going out 2 weeks. And I would do that. And I was like, instead of making, I don't know, $1,500. No, I can't do the math again. Whatever, $3,000, $6,000 multiple times by swing trading it. I made $7,500 over the course of like 30 trades. So this is just like one of those, as you identify patterns in a stock and find levels that you're comfortable at. And this is over, a couple of months here. So there was nothing that really changed drastically that indicated, and I felt this way too. My advice to other people was, don't buy Tesla unless it's below 300. My best friend bought Tesla at 290, whatever it was down here, 290 something. And he sold it here. He's like, hey man, thanks. And I'm like, yeah, that was that was great. I wish I took my own advice, but good for you. Like, as you see these things, you're probably right. So don't pay attention to the constant fluctuations throughout the days, throughout the weeks. Pick your points. And you can do limit sells at, nobody wants to stare at a limit sell for a month. Like, that feels kind of pointless, to be honest, even though it may hit eventually. But you can do that. And in these cases, you probably do pretty well. I would have done well in those cases. So, okay, that was a really long ramble for $1,500, but here we are, or $1,750. Let me bring back the magic here and get back to the next stock. Google. What did I miss? Anything going on in chat? You guys talk? Oh, the poll did post. Maybe it just was like below the chat and it didn't pop up right away. 80-20, 10 votes. Look at that. Eat that muffin, man. Eat that muffin. How you like them muffins? Movie quotes all day long. There's a cup on every ticker. There is a cup on it. You can always force a cup. Okay, we don't think Tesla looks bullish. I don't know. We're above the cloud. We're about to go in the cloud. We're above most of the moving averages. We're above the fibs. And my neighbor keeps telling me how robotaxis are great because his 80-year-old father can drive without him having to worry about him not being able to drive a car anymore. So he bought a Tesla. And I'm like, oh, that's such a good point. Rich old people buying Teslas so they don't have to drive them. Also, like, the best car for an alcoholic. I hope you're not an alcoholic. And I don't recommend it, but like, it's definitely safer than driving. I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one. All right, man, go enjoy your ice cream. You're not going to see a pepper, just going to say that, all right? We'll leave that there. Okay, next up. What do we got? Google. That one baked in the oven for a month. that was a long dated expiration there. Of that was a genuinely 30-day expiration. I sold when it was at 170, I think. I sold 190. Yeah, you can see, well, 170 is the cost basis there. And that felt like a really good bet. Decent premium for what it was. It was like, whatever, 2%. And then over a month, so like, it was like, it was like a 30% trade, but it paid better with the share appreciation being $4,000. So like in total, 40, let's do this math, all right? 46. Oh no, I hit the wrong button, lost all my chat and stuff. Damn it. What a noob. I wanted to click the calculator. So 4608 divided by, what did I have tied up in shares? 170 was 34,000. So yeah, 13.5% times, we'll just do 12. I mean, 162% return trade. That was amazing. The premium didn't look fancy, but it was at a time where everybody was saying how undervalued Google was. People were talking about how Congress is loading up on Google by the truckload. Long bought a bunch of Google. He said hot girls like Waymo. I can't argue with that. I don't know any hot. So, there seemed like a lot of buying sentiment, positive sentiment for Google being the most undervalued of all the Mag 7. And this is in a Vanguard account that I don't want to look at because Vanguard sucks that much. So this is like a set it and forget it trade. So 160% return on the set it and forget it trade is damn good. Damn good. I was very happy with that. So anyway, long story short, not a whole lot to talk about here. Would have been fine if it expired. I would have bought it back eventually, most likely, and then just resold it out to like September. But it worked out and paid almost $4,600. So very cool. After that, we already talked about Bull. Did I cover that trade? I think I did, right? Did I skip Bull? I feel like I skipped Bull. Well, I'm going to start talking about it, but you can tell me if I talked about it already. No, I don't think we ever brought the chart up because I know that chart's got 2 cups on it, and I remember looking at it. I did talk Bull? I mean, I thought we talked around Bull, but I don't think we really talked to Bull on the trade that I did anyway. By the way, these arrows both happened, despite looking ridiculous. This one, not so much. Okay, maybe not this one. I'm going to delete this one. But definitely that other one happened. And we are in that range. Once again, range bound. And I didn't realize we're stacking them nicely here again with those shares or those, those moving averages. Let's just move this one out. There we go. So we had a top range and this like lower range that we keep living in back here. Yeah, right, repeatedly. So I think we're going to be here for a while, but we could very, very easily break out and get back into what I thought originally was going to be the new channel up here. This is kind of funny because I sold these 2 weeks ago here. Premium was good. I mean, let's just do the return real quick. 2,000, yeah. Where's the calculator? I lost it, and I don't want to click the wrong button this time. So it was $35 on 15.5. So it was a 2.2% trade on 2 weeks. So times 26, 58, 60% return. Okay, not terrible. No premium at all. I don't get any share appreciation, which is regrettable. But you could argue mistakes were made here because I could have bought it back here for like 85%. Should I have? Well, I keep rubbing my eyes. This is terrible. If you follow my golden rules of when do you buy back and buy to close a position, it could have happened here. But we were more than halfway. I don't know if the time lined up where it actually made sense from a math perspective to do it. And at the end of the day, there's no way that anyone would have known this would have happened. Right? Like that was just not on the bingo card today. But it did. And, I look at this and I go, is there anything to learn from this? Could I have done anything differently? The only thing that I can possibly point out here is I thought about this. And I go, wow, bull has been all over the place the last few days, which is clearly true, right? This is insane. I mean, these swings are like 10 to 15% in a couple of days, back and forth. That's nuts. More if you include where I started from here, down in the range of 13 to now 16. That's insane. It's a 20% swing more, especially if you go to the top here. So maybe there was an argument to say, yeah, buy it back because you don't know. Maybe that's what I should have done. I was totally fine with them being called away, and we could very well continue this ridiculous whipsaw. And if it drops back to this range, I will 100% be selling puts again on Monday if that happens. You just don't know. And again, Average Advisor hit this a bit too. We don't have quite the history to do like traditional TA beyond, what is this, 3 months? Maybe 4 months? I don't know. When did we IPO? April, May, June, July, August, 4 months, whatever. So the history is limited, and the first part of the history was pointless because it was IPO stuff, and then you had the warrant stuff. So like realistically, we only have what date was this? End of July to now. I mean, we're talking less than a month of really useful TA type stuff we could use. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not beating myself up over this because, for one, it was a profitable trade. I'm happy with the return. The question is, did I leave anything on the table that I should have noticed? I think some people would probably say yes. I'm going to say, I don't know. I look at this and I'm like, probably could have. Probably could have figured something out here that made sense and squeezed out like $6,000. That's the thing. So if I had bought it back, $3,000. Cost basis was $1,550. If I had bought it back and sold it at 16, limit sell type deal, yeah, it would have made another $3,000. But I don't know. I don't think I really could have anticipated that. That's probably where I'll have to leave it. Earnings on the 28th. What? What are you talking about? Coming up? Is it? No. Didn't we just have earnings? When was earnings? Maybe it is. May, June, July. Okay, yeah. It's probably right. Why is it not on here? That's so weird. Let me catch up on chat. I missed some stuff. How long was the Google trade again? It was, hey, YTP, good to see you, YouTube Premium in the house. It was a month. You roll your 15 to 15.5 for a credit, and it'll still get called away. That is something else I could have done. No, it was a CC. I would have had to roll it down. I don't know. Double dipped on CCs a couple times, made 3% more. Nice. Yeah, bull earnings. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not beating myself up over the trade. I'm pretty happy with how it went. It was a fantastic week, big week. And I'm just like, I do look at this one and go, I felt something. I could have done something, but whatever. We'll just move on this one. It was clearly a win. I mean, again, the week was $40K. I should be slapping myself for complaining. All right. Any questions on those before I talk Lily? Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. Alec with the sweet moves. You have Fruit Ninja over there. Slicing up bull. I guess that would not be a Fruit Ninja. Okay, let's talk Lily. Oh, I love this trade. This is my favorite one. Well, I said Onzo is my favorite one, which is true. Lily is my favorite overall trade, though, because I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. Don't rub your eyes. Don't rub your eyes. All right, we're going back to oh, UNH is on the chart. Ugh, gross. Okay, Lilly. Let's look. We're gonna bring up Lilly and Lilly X because both of them are just so juicy. Or maybe I should look at it at a trading view. Do I have Lilly? Why do I not have Lilly here either? Let's do Lilly. Did anyone ever figure out why it puts it on the bottom here for me? So obnoxious. Do I have a cup for Lilly? Ooh, no, I don't have a cup. Okay, let's rehash Lilly. It's kind of crazy that I've never drawn lines on this. I've literally only looked at this from Google on like the 1 year view. And I'm like, look, it goes to 720 and then 900 over and over and over. And that's the only way I've played it for the last year. It has been great. From here to here is basically when I was playing it. Remember, this has been a $950 stock. And I'm very familiar with this business. I know people who work there, not insider info type stuff, but just like people happy with the company. And they're like, yeah, Lilly's great. And they're expanding. They're doing this, like all public information. But I look at this and I go, okay, who's competing with Lilly? Who is ultimately, when you learn more about Lilly and realize that they make their own devices, they're a manufacturing business, they also own their own drugs, they have a really deep pipeline, they've got a global footprint where it doesn't matter if this happens in England. It's like somebody asked me, like, what about the thing that's happening in England? I'm like, I don't know. It does, no offense, dude, but like, I don't care. You're talking about a single drug in a single location. That is always going to happen. You always have puts and takes of business going well over here, not financial, but like legal troubles over here, whatever. Just, it's fine. That's the beauty of a global business is you kind of get to average that all out. So this dump was hilarious to me because it was based off of the drugs, the weight loss drugs. Now, if you didn't know, Lilly owns, what is it, Mounjaro? Why do they have such stupid names for drugs? They own one of these drugs that does weight loss, and it's very successful. It's one of the best performing ones, right? Everybody likes it. Cool. And so they've got this just general competitive advantage right now. They compete with the likes of Novo and I think Novo, I don't know, whoever they compete with. A couple of other companies that are doing this. I think it's literally just Lilly and Novo that have the direct supply of these particular weight loss drugs. Might be somewhat misinformed. There could be another one, I forget. But Lilly announced and had been working on an oral version of the drug because if you didn't know, right now you have to inject all of them like right into the gut. Like they stab you every time. And I don't know about you, but I don't like being stabbed generally. I'm also not on any weight loss medication or whatever. But the idea of being stabbed medicine regularly is not particularly sexy to me. I mean, maybe if you're into certain hard drugs, it is. But it feels aggressive. And when they announced that they had a pill that would like solve this problem, everybody lost their minds, right? This is amazing. Well, here they announced in earnings that they smashed earnings, like not even close. We can click on the green E because they smashed earnings. 12% surprise, 5% surprise on revenue and earnings. But they had news of the weight loss pill only reduced weight in patients by 12.5% versus like, I don't know, 20% or 30% of what the injectable does. So it dumped. But here's the thing. Even if the drug is only 12.5% effective, it's still a pill and not an injectable. So you're telling me that, okay, I can still lose weight for free and I don't have to stab myself. Cool. Oh, but it's going to be a little bit slower. Well, guess what? It's almost winter anyway, except for Saul. It's almost winter, and I got all winter to lose 12% a month or whatever they lose. Not a month, but over the course of whatever it is. So, like, that seems okay. It seems like an overreaction. So I caught the falling knife, way high actually when you look at it. I bought them pre-hours at 668 because I'm like, oh, there's no way it's never going this low. It's not going to stay down here, which wasn't really a bad bet in hindsight. Like directionally correct. Again, directionally correct. However, we kept dropping, and it was somewhere down here. I think we were at about 640, and I'm like, screw it. I'm not buying more Lily. I'm buying Lily X. And I matched the position. Well, almost matched it. I bought 100 shares of Lily, right? So 70K or 66K. And then I was like, Lily X at $10, 5,000 shares. Boom. And I mean, you know the story, right? 5 days later, and we're up 24%. I don't know. It seems pretty good. And in fact, at one point we were up. So let me find a 10 spotter. Do we have a, can I find an exact 10? Come on. I could just do the math. I know. But at one point we were up like 20. I thought I was up 25%. Whatever. It doesn't matter. A big number in 5 days. And the fact is, I expect Lily and Lily X for that matter to get back to 15. Like, to me, this is where the stock naturally likes to be. This is equivalent 770, which is, well, let's bring up TradingView for that, which is here. Look at this, 770. Let's draw the line. When I did the math, it is about 770. Well, let's like zoom out, and guess what? What is that? 90% of the time, we're above 770 in the last year. Okay, in the last year, it's more than it's probably 90% of the time. I very strongly believe we will be back here in. Well, I'm not making any more bets. It worked out well this time. I genuinely didn't think this was going to happen in time 2 days ago, but here we are. I did think this was going to happen. It didn't play out the way I expected, and I was sweating a little bit. But I thought for sure, we'd be back at 700 by now, which we are. And I also think for sure we'll be back above 750 in another couple weeks. I'm not going to make a bet on it, but I would be a little surprised if we weren't. And the fact is, we're going to hit the cloud here and do all that fun TA stuff. We're back above some of the 8-day moving average already. I think we're easily going to cross over the 20 and the 50 next. It seems inevitable, honestly. Because again, the news wasn't bad, and one drug is not what all of this was built off of. This is not the weight loss pill drug that sent it to 950. Like that's not where this came from. And that's why I viewed this as a wild overreaction. End rant. I'm going to stop talking, take a sip, and catch up on chat here. My bad, Alec. I didn't mean to call you out for that, Fruit Ninja. DT in both chats. Wish you played Lily X, but didn't have high enough conviction. Yeah, okay. So this is a good topic, and I did want to talk about that. Will I go back into Lily X? I'm still in Lily X. I got out of UNHG. I'm still in Lily X. I have not left Lily X. So here we are. This is still an open position, 50K on the dot. We're up some amount of money. What is 50? What is 5,000 or 5,000 times 208? So 11,600, something like that. I'm not letting go of this one. I want to get a 50% increase here. So I'm really holding for 25K on that. And if that takes a month, that is a very worthwhile hold. I'm also covered. I don't know if I specified that. I sold a 700C, which, by the way, if you didn't know, me selling that covered call is what caused the stock to move up, obviously, because that's what happens when you sell a covered call. And I'm cool with that, because that covered call, that's the goal with doing this. You cover your share, you get a good appreciation. This is going to be, so the Lily shares right now is, I bought them at 668. I'm going to sell them at 700. Almost guaranteed, right? and this will be a sell. So I'm netting 3,200 plus $1,000 from selling the option. So 4,200. So 4219 divided by the original 6680 that I put up on this is a 6.3% return times 12. That's a 75% return. Is a good trade. However, I knew that was good, but I also had a very strong conviction that it was going to go higher. So why cover it? Well, the question is, how long is that going to take? It could take till next earnings. So the idea was, well, let's guarantee $1,000, which is a good return on its own, of not quite 2%, like 1.7% or something like that. And that's where Lily X comes in. Boom, you get another potential for. Oh, I'm highlighting. I deleted the line, right? You get another potential for 25K there, so you don't lose out on the upside at all. And that's something I like to do, because the alternative. This is why it's important. The alternative was I could have just bought 200 shares of Lily for more than what I'm spending, and then what? Do I leave Lily uncapped? Yeah, you could cover half and leave half uncovered. You cut your return in half on the capital deployed. But in this case, I put less capital up and I have a higher return potential by doing this. And that's why I really have come to like these leveraged ETFs, where you cover a stock with a call and you also buy shares of the 2X. And if you could do that successfully, obviously, even if it runs away from you, you feel good. You feel like you won. You feel like you won doubly. You forget about the Lily shares. You're like, whatever, that was great. But have you heard about Lily X? And you brag to your friends on after hour, and everybody goes, "Wow, what a big number! You're so cool." So, like, it's a nice feeling though, because it really helps you on the mental side with not thinking about losing out on returns. So I've been employing it more. I did it with Reddit RDTL. That was great too. I've done it with Tesla TSLL. Now I've done it with Lily. There's a bull 2X, but it costs more than. It's the thing. It generally costs less. So like, if you're gonna play it, buy the one that costs less. Don't buy bull G if it costs more. It seems silly. I guess mathematically it still comes out ahead, but still seems weird. And it, the cheaper price allows you to play with a smaller port, which is also kind of nice, because most people aren't playing Lily. I get it, and that's fine. Too big of a percent of your port, but anyone could play Lily X. This is a $10 share. $10 a share is, you could buy a share with a $20 port, and you're only at 50% of your port size. Right? So like, seems plausible here. We'll see ya, Alex. Leverage strangle. You want to do more with the leverage tickers. Keep in mind, there are a couple things to keep in mind. Leverage tickers have decay. I think it's overstated personally. Not financial advice to your own due diligence, etc. But like, generally, who cares? Like, there's decay, but it's not like you're losing money. You lose money if it goes down, obviously, and it goes down twice as fast as the uncovered shares or the unleveraged shares. So that's important to remember too. So you're doubly exposed on the downside. But on a stock that you have high conviction in, it can be a very good augment to your play. And I'll leave it at that. So that's about it. The only other thing going on is I bought some TTD Leaps. These are in June of 2026. At one point, they were up like 10%. Now they're down 3% or whatever. These are one of the things where I call them lotto tickets. They are. I think TTD will end up going to like 75 before then, and we're gonna hold them. We're gonna hold these for a long time for sure. So I don't plan to talk about these very much. I don't honestly have strong conviction in TTD beyond like, it seems like it's worth more than $50 a share type stock. So we're gonna just go to the pub, have a pint, let it all blow over, and see what happens here in. I might hold this for a solid 6 months. I don't know. I've never actually really done long leaps, and this will be a good test for how I deal with them mentally, because I don't know if I'm going to be like 20% sell, or do I hold them until I have like a legit 100% gain or multiple hundreds percent? I don't know. I never do leaps. So it's a little bit of an experiment, and it seems like a safe one. I mean, if I wanted to get out right now, I could for basically break even. Cheap tuition in my mind, but also priced at a level where if they hit, it feels good. I didn't want to do just one contract, so I did a fiver. Call that 0.5% of a position, and it should be good. Should be good. The win check, yeah, you caught that? All right. Got to play it right. TSLL can burn you for sure. How did TSLL burn you though? I wonder. Because so my thing on Tesla is I've played TSLL actually here at some point. Let me see if I can find it. TSLL. There we go. I've only done it once, maybe twice. No, once. And it was it was a CSP. I thought I bought shares. Okay, maybe I'm not the right one to ask on it. I think I remember. No, I don't. No, I do. It was really good premium percent. And if you see, I didn't even hold the 50%. So, quick $1,000 on that one. But in hindsight, it probably would have been better to just buy 5,000 shares than the equivalent. And why does it say 46? Something's wrong here. I don't know. What did I do? These numbers are right, though. Whatever. Wait a second. No. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But did they split since then? Maybe they split. But yeah, anyway, it was a solid play. But the only way to get burned on it is kind of like what I was talking about earlier. If you're not if you're not having some discipline in when you enter that type of position. So the way I look at these this is the situation where you buy Lily X. Or like I talked about UNH, bought here. When I didn't buy it here, I could have, right? Like, well, no, because UNH didn't exist till like here. And some people bought here, by the way. I think Bob bought here. But the thing is, I wouldn't have bought here because we know well enough that stocks can keep going down. But there does seem to come a point where you're like, when everyone can no longer explain why something has gone down so far as it has, like, that's when I jump in. That's where I'm like, oh, we're there. It's time. UNHG, LLYX, RDTL. Nobody knows why something's so low. Now let's jump in. And it's the same with TSLL. I only buy TSLL in my head, which apparently I never buy. I thought I bought it. If we're at 290 on Tesla. That's like my rule, and maybe that's why I haven't bought it since. But we got to be down below 290, which is, you can see, not happening very often. I guess I could have bought it here. So pick your spots carefully with the leverage, because you never want to, like, anything above. You could argue that, no, you should only buy TSLL if you're at 220. That would be a fair statement. I would not argue with that at all. I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Wait for it to really drop if you're going to get in there. So you got to be careful, because the downside sucks. He bought. So I've played Robin too. Robin is a good one. I don't want to tell you when I owned Robin. It was here. It was here. And I sold that shit here. I think I bought it at 12 and sold it at 13. That was, in hindsight, painful. But yeah, whatever. It was still profit. But man, here's the other thing. I know I showed covering TSLL. I don't like covering leverage. I like using them as the uncovered version when I'm covered. Up to you how you want to do all that, obviously, but think that through, because talking about being upset about capping upside, you're twice as likely to cap your upside on a leveraged ETF. So if that's what's bothering you, don't do it. Buy the regular shares, cover those, and keep the leverage shares uncovered. That is how I think about it. And that, my friends, takes us to the end of the weekend review. And wow, you guys let me yap. All right, I just can't shut up. One of the two. So I can either leave, or maybe I could take a little bite. Maybe I can take a little bite of this pepper. I'm kind of curious if it tastes good or not. This is not going to help at all, by the way. It's gonna look like the tiniest bite ever, and I don't care what any of you think. Actually, hold on. Let me rinse it off. I'll be right back. I'm gonna rinse it off real quick. I should have muted the mic because now I just realized you heard my kids playing Roblox or something. Which, by the way, what the hell's going on with Roblox and the child predator stuff? I don't know. Should my kids not be playing Roblox right now? Should I go yell at them? I don't want to eat it, but I'm going to take a bite. Let's look at Roblox while I consider biting this. Am I edging you guys? Is that a thing? Am I pepper edging you? Am I pepper edging farm? Roblox, what are you doing? Are you drunk? Look at that. Bounced off the 100 or the 50? Look at that spike. Wow. What a run they've had, though. We were looking at it here and like, yeah, it seems oversold. Do we really want to do this? Do I really want to do this? I don't know. Not really. I'm going to take a bite, though. I know I don't have to do the pepper, but like I bought it. It was 70 cents. I am such a cheap ass. I'm like, I shouldn't throw this out. I bought it. I should take a bite. Why don't I just take a little bite? How bad could it hurt? It's just a little bite. Can you hear it? Oh, there's a lot of seeds in there. Oh, wow, that's spicy. Do not like. I'm really glad I don't have to eat this whole thing. Oh. Okay, it's like half a pepper. Oh. Well, the stream might be about to end. Oh. Why did I do that? That was a terrible idea. My eyes are already sweating. Ugh. I don't want to look to the side anymore for chat. We're going to bring it up front and center. Huh. I'm not eating the whole pepper. My tongue's already numb. Oh. Great week, guys. Thanks for chiming in. I'm losing my voice. It was fun. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rub my eyes either. Oh, that's spicy. All right, I'm not going to make everybody listen to me sound like I'm sucking at a straw. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to go eat some ice cream, I think. I'm never making this bet again, by the way. And I just want everyone to know that I won. I won that bet. You all lost. You all should be the ones eating the spicy pepper. I still took a bite, though, because why not? I have no real good reason for why I took a bite. But I appreciate everybody tuning in for another fun call. And Muffin Man doesn't. Muffin Man's not even. My ears are itchy. Muffin Man's not even called. I'm like, I can't even talk. Is this how Hot Ones works? He's got a fiery muffin emoji on Discord, and I don't want to look at him right now because it makes it feel hotter. And my nose is dripping now too. But thank you. Thanks for joining again. That was fun. That was also a fun bet. I am so glad I didn't have to eat that whole thing. That would not have been fun. There's a lot of seeds in there. I wonder if you can see the seed. I'm gonna share again. Can you see the seeds? Oh, oh, wait. Yeah, look at those seeds. I ain't eating those seeds. That'd be bad. Why would anyone do that? What is wrong with people? Why do people eat hot peppers? All right. Well, I'm losing track of what I'm even talking about. I see how the Hot Ones interviews work though, because you can't think, you can't keep a train of thought. So like, you go between bouncing back and forth between train of thought and it's hot and spicy, and I want to get up and leave, but you can't because there's the pressure of the camera. In this case, my cheap webcam. And so you try to get it out as fast as you can, but then then you can't get it out fast because you keep talking about how spicy it is. Okay, I think I'm getting over it. I think I'm over the hump already. Should I eat the rest of it? No. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I gotta go to bed soon. That would be a terrible idea. And then tomorrow morning is also not gonna be fun. I'm well aware, even the little bit that I took, it was not gonna be fun. Yeah, thanks for joining in. I had a lot of fun. I will catch you guys in the next one next week. If you're able to, we've got the bakery weekend preview with Muffin Man. Still hot. I'm burping. And Muffin Man. Look. You can see the seeds. Oh, that came out. Yeah, that's very clear, actually. And yeah, so make sure you catch the bakery with Muffin Man right there, the preview, the weekend preview, where we're going to talk about what options we're thinking about selling, and we're going to stick to the wheel. Yes, you're not debating me. I know what you're doing. You're not debating me. And we're going to talk about what we're wheeling, why we're wheeling it. And maybe we'll talk about our feelings a little bit. I don't know. It gets a little crazy in there. Sometimes there's genetically engineered dogs. Sometimes there's some wild stuff. But what I can tell you is I'm sweating, and it'll be fun. So jump on in. It's for people who are on the Discord, I suppose. So if you're on the Discord, jump on in, join us, and yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. You all have a good night. I'm going to have a weird night. And yeah.